So here I am at a magnolia plantation, getting ready to work with another couple on their wedding, and it's a joyous occasion. It's a wonderful thing to see love in action, the way that it is during a wedding, and I'm so happy to be a part of this on a daily basis in my life. It's a beautiful thing. But I think about the recent events in Charleston, and I think about how I felt, just like you did, how I all these emotions flow into your body, into your mind when you hear about something like that, and you feel frustration, and you feel sadness, and you feel anger, and one of the first things that you want to do is lash out, and certainly I've done plenty of that in my life, so I can't point fingers at anybody, because that's certainly a natural occurrence in a human to want to lash out when you see something like that, something so unjust happening. But over the years, I've learned that the only way that is right, the only way that is guaranteed to be the right thing to do, is to look at what Jesus would do. And I know that's commonplace. People talk about WWJD all the time. But the truth is, if you look at his actions, his love, and his emotions, the things that he did when he came to the earth, the fact of the matter is, he was killed because he loved. The people in that church opened their hearts and their arms and their doors to someone, and he killed them. Now, had they tried to reject him at the door, had they tried to close the doors to him and not let him in, he probably would have killed them anyway. But what they did is they modeled the master of the universe. They modeled Jesus. They did what Jesus would have done, and they loved him even in the midst of what happened. And then the families are trying to forgive him even in the midst of what happened. And the reason for that is that when you open your heart to violence and aggression and anger and unforgiveness, you open the door to the enemy. And that door lets him come in and wreak havoc in your life, and therefore in the lives of the people around you. And that's what ends in a disaster like we saw with that boy. But when you reject that kind of action, when you reject it and you choose as an act of your will to forgive, and you choose to look beyond the physical things that are happening around us and the ugliness and the sin, and you start to look beyond that and say, okay, well, what did Jesus do? Jesus had access to 10,000 legions of angels. When he was crucified, he told his disciples, I could call down these legions of angels and they could rescue me. And in fact, God could crush every person that does something wrong, something sinful, easily. Just wipe it all out. He proved that with the flood with Noah. He could crush that. But what God knows, and what Jesus came to show us, is that crushing evil with violence is not the way to stop the enemy. The way to stop the enemy is what those people did in that church. They loved, they opened their doors. He killed, but in the end, what we see as a result of their love is an expanse of further love. What's the point I'm trying to make? The point I'm trying to make is, if we can only stop ourselves and take a deep breath when we get so angry and frustrated, and we see these videos of violence and things that go through our feed on Facebook, if we can only stop ourselves for a minute and ask God for the calm that we need, and ask him for the love, and then show that love instead of opening the door to the enemy and showing violence and anger and frustration and hatred. If we show that love, we invite the Master of the universe. We invite God and his Son Jesus to come into our lives and to bless us. When we take it upon ourselves to act on anger and aggression, we invite the enemy to come into our lives and wreak havoc. Those people did what they should do, and it will make waves of love surround them and this city as opposed to destruction. And thank God for that. God bless you.